We are in the cab, we are looking around. This is the inside of our cab. My head movement is everything that's working. It is very, very cool. Right in on our screen there, you can even do this. How cool is that? Pretty impressed. I'm pretty damn impressed with this. Hey everyone, FSG here, hope you're all doing well. Today we're looking at a very cool little piece of software called Beam Eye Tracker. Now this takes your existing webcam and turns it into an eye tracking tool, and it is very cool, and it costs just $30. So let's jump in and let's have a look at it. One of the great things about Beam Eye Tracker is that it works with over 200 games, from many racing titles to Farming Simulator 25, 22 and everything in between, so well worth checking out the list that they have on their website. In addition, as I have already mentioned, price-wise, this is a steal. $29.99 for a one-time fee, or alternatively, you can pay a monthly charge of just $4.99, so you can check it out. The other option is to have a look at the limited time trial that is available on Steam as well. So you can download the software directly from the site, or you can download it via Steam. I want to say a big thank you to Beam Eye Tracker for providing me with a code to allow you to see this in action, but they have had no input on the video and the content that I am putting out, so this is absolutely a 100% my thoughts on the product. In terms of webcams, you can use an internal webcam that's attached to a laptop screen, you can use an external webcam, which is what I'm doing at the moment, or you can indeed set it up with your phone, either Android or iOS. So maybe if you don't have a webcam, or you don't have a good enough quality webcam, this might be an option for you as well. The recommendation is a 720p webcam as a minimum, and just for clarity, I'm using a 1080p webcam at 60 FPS. That is the webcam we'll be using on the left there for Beam Eye Tracker, and on the right is the camera we are using to record our face, so we can demonstrate our head movement when we are showing you the Beam Eye Tracker in the video. Now you can also, if you only have one webcam, use a single webcam that can be connected to more than one source. So you have that option available to you as well, which is good. And I'll show you how to set that up in the software. Right, so back to the computer here. We have installed Beam Eye Tracker in the corner of our screen there. Standard procedure for installing a piece of software on your PC. And the first thing we need to do is click on Calibrate. And it will say Beam Eye Tracker is disabled. Your system configuration has changed. Manage camera settings to reconfigure Beam Eye Tracker. So we're going to click on Manage, and it will bring up this HUD here for us to do some settings on. So we can preview our video here, so we can see things from our other camera. There we go, that's just loaded up. So I'm moving about there, as you can see. Now you've got the option here, as I talked about just a second ago, the camera access can be exclusive, which is what we want with this camera, because we have a dedicated camera for. But if you wanted to use a shared camera, one that was going into OBS or another piece of software, that is where you would have the shared option there. Now, I'm going to switch the resolution and frame rate up to 1920 by 1080 and 60 FPS for a little bit of extra clarity. And then all we need to do is set our camera placement. Now, you notice as well that my camera was slightly off to the left. That doesn't matter as long as it is at the top of the screen like so. And because ours is pointing down slightly, we are going to hit -20 on our degrees as well. We're going to hit save there, and we are done. So I can close this now. Now we go back to our system tray here and click onto Beam Eye Tracker here again, because the next thing we need to do is click on Gaming Extensions. So there we go. That is us sorted. You can see the two white dots there moving in the corner as well as I move my head around. But we still need to calibrate things. So what we do is click on the Calibrate button here. Very simple to do this. We look at the center dot and click on it with our mouse. We then look up to the top left and do the same. You can turn your head a little bit if you want. Then we're going to go to top right. We're going to go to bottom right. bottom left, and you'll see there the tick in the middle tells us we are done. So we click on that, and that is everything we need to do from that. Next up, we need to install a second piece of software. This is also available from the Be My Tracker website, and I will put a link to this in the description as well. This is called OpenTrack. Like I said, this is free, but this is what we actually use to get the Be My Tracker working with our game. Now, the first thing you need to do here is create a new profile. There is a default profile here, but I've created a new one called FarmSim.ini, and that is the one that we're going to use for this. And you also need to change your input from all of these options to iWare Beam here. Everything else should stay the same. The other things you need to do, go into your options here. The only things that you need to bind are center. So basically, click on here, click bind. I'm just going to use any key. There we go. We've used home, and I changed the centering method to point here. I think sometimes it's defaulted to wireless VR 360. I found point worked best for me. And in terms of output, I inverted the yaw. So when I loaded up the first time, when I looked left, the camera went right, and when I went right, the camera looked left. So I clicked on invert there. Everything else seemed to work okay. But again, if you're looking up and down and it's going the opposite, you can click on your pitch and again, roll as well if they're not working quite right. One last thing, if you want to, is go into mapping here. Now you've got options. I've put it at max input 180, so that means we can look behind us in the cab. Now you could, if you wanted to, change the way this works by adding points in as you go up to 180. So it will speed up and slow down depending on where you're turning. Now I've added those points in using a left click. You just right click if you want to remove those. For now, I'm going to leave those as they are. Now all that's left to do is the hit start button, and this should, as you can see, the raw data tracker here has got information moving and game data moving there. Now if I move my head left and right, look up and down, you can see our little pink octopus there is moving around, which is very, very cool. But what does it look like in game? Well, let's jump into FS and have a look. Right, we're in the game here, and then we need to go down to options before we start up a game and see where it says head/eye tracking. We need to make sure we have turned that on, and we're going to hit apply and go back and launch the game. Now, before we launch the game, I had a few issues with this not working straight away, and the reason for that was because we had already used Tobii Eye Tracker before. So what you need to do within Documents, My Games, Farming Simulator 25, if you're having issues, if you're not having issues, don't worry about this, but if you're having issues or you know you've installed some eye tracking software before, make sure you go into your game.xml and make sure where it says head tracking, you want to remove any other options in there like Tobii Eye Tracker, like so. Remove that and only have head tracking active equals true in there. So make sure if you're having issues, change that, then relaunch the game, and it should solve the problem. Right, we're in the game now. We're at Calmsden. We've got a couple of tractors in front of us. Now you'll notice I've turned my hat around. The peak of your cap can sometimes cover up the camera, which can cause some issues. So bear that in mind. Now let's just jump into the case, because this is in fact very, very cool. Bear in mind, this is a $30 piece of software, and you are paying for no additional tools. You are literally using your webcam that hopefully you already have available to you. So let's jump into the cab. Obviously we're outside the cab at the moment, so this works as per normal. You're mousing around to pan around. But if we jump into the cab, you can see we are in the cab. We are looking around. This is the inside of our cab. My head movement is everything that's working. It is very, very cool. We're maybe a little bit high here, so what you can do, remember we set that centering button before. I can slightly adjust my position, press center again, and it will give us a different position. Now I can turn around as well. Obviously we can't look behind ourselves 100%, but we can do enough to hook up our implement like so, and then we can look around, look up and down, and it is awesome. So we drive out now. Avoid that little bit of a step there. you've got this movement. I can look over here, make sure nothing's coming. I can roll into the field now. I don't have any seed in my planter at the moment, but you can look around, you can check your planter. It's very good for $30. I tell you what, I've used Tobii Eye Tracker before, and I've got to say, I might even go as far as to say it's as accurate, if not more accurate. Now, actually, I think my FOV is a little bit tight in here. It's one of my issues I have with the game when you jump into cab. I think the FOV could be a little bit further away, so let me just adjust that. There we go, we've moved things back a bit. A little bit of distortion in the wheel there, but it does give us a better view of what's going on around us and feels a little bit more like we are sitting in the cab seat rather than hunched over the wheel. But all our controls here, again, if you're not happy with the way this is working, you can just jump out and recalibrate as well. This feels not bad to me at the moment, I've got to say, but this is where it gets really cool. Look, if I stop here, look, I'm going to move my mic out of the way slightly, but if I lean forward or over here, I can literally look out of the windows and look around the cab a little bit more. What's going on up here? What's going on down here? We've lost tracking there as we got a little bit closer, but it's very cool. So what I might do here, actually, let me just recalibrate this. So again, we'll Alt-Tab out of this. So we're outside the game now, but you can see the game running in the background here still. Let's recalibrate. So I'm going to find the position, I'm in a natural seating position here. I'm going to go calibrate, I'm going to stare forwards, I'm going to click, I'm going to do a more pronounced head movement this time. And there we go. Now, if I go back in, don't have to worry about anything. Now you can see that more pronounced head movement that I've done gives me a lot more range of motion. So it's a case of just playing with it and getting things set up. My voice is probably going in and out as well with the mic, moving my head around the mic. But I really, really love this. This is... And it's not juddery or shaky. You can obviously adjust the sensitivity as well and things like that. But this feels really, really good, actually. I think maybe my FOV is too much now. Maybe I'll drop it down again a little bit to... I think I did it at 80. Let's do it at 70. See what we get for that. Just a subtle difference. But it makes our wheel feel a little bit more round and less distorted. But again, look, if we wanted to look right in on our screen there, or over here, out of the window, like so, you can even do this. How cool is that? So, Beam Eye Tracker, I have got to say, this is great. I am really, really liking this. So there we go. You know, if you're driving on the roads or things like that, or you're driving into a yard, let's go round here, like so. We can look, what's that tractor doing? Do we want to go and get in that tractor? We might as well. Let's park up here. See where we can go with the trailer. Let's open the gates here, and we'll go for a little ride along the roads, shall we? I am loving this. I have to say, I used Tobii Eye Tracker for a little while, but the fact it's firing infrared into your eyes to track them slightly put me off, I have to say. But this is great. This is just mapping your eyes using a webcam. So there we go. We're in the John Deere now. Same again. Range of movement. Slightly different cab here. Lean forward, lean back. Out the windows, what's happening out over our front wheel there. Let's take this for a spin on the road, shall we? I think traffic's on, so we've got an opportunity to dodge some traffic if it gets in the way, but getting to our gate here, pull up, look both directions before we pull out, and away we go. So, It's not VR, but I tell you what, who needs VR when you've got this kind of range of movement going on? Avoid the pedestrian on the road there. But there we go. Stop. Checking the houses. Yeah. Let's move on again. This is brilliant. I am loving this. So cool. Here we go, climbing up the hill here. The eye movement gives you kind of less tracking, but then if you move your head, you can see you've got a wider range of tracking. You can slow that down if you want. It might be slightly too fast at the moment, but in general, it feels pretty good to me. There we go. And again, if you don't want to, you can just go out of the cab and drive like this, which is great. Let's just pop this gate open and run down here. Gotta say, this is adding a level of immersion I was not expecting. I really like this. Really like this. And remember, at any point, if you feel like you're slightly wrong, you set that centering button so you can reset it again. There you go. Maybe sitting a little bit higher up in the cab now. Slightly taller person, but again, if we want to reset it, we can go maybe to something like this. There we go, and it's dropped it down again. So, lots of scope to play with. Brilliant. So there you have it. I am sitting in the BGA here. I think I've tweaked my movement slightly so things feel a little better. But look, I'm moving side to side. The position is fantastic. But I'm also in a very settled position here, where I can look to my left as I turn round, avoid things that I don't want to crash into, head out of the yard, and back to the farm. It feels very, very natural. It almost, after a little bit of time, you get that slight movement and shake, but it just feels very natural, and I'm just enjoying it. It's great. Let's check our field over there. Yeah. Got another field over there. This is maybe slightly sensitive. I might turn this down again. Maybe on the head movements. With the eye movements, it's great. So there we go. We are just about back at the farm here. Let's check nobody's coming out as we're going in. No. That little head turn is great. Really subtle. There you go. I hope you like this. I've been, gotta say, pretty impressed with this. I was not expecting this to be as good as it is. So, well worth checking out if you want a kind of cost-effective, nice, easy way of kind of enhancing your gameplay. This could well be the solution for you. I am properly impressed with this, especially after the recent announcement of FarmSim VR. I mean, this brings a lot of those elements to your existing gameplay and in Farming Simulator 25, so maybe worth checking out. I'll put all the information and the links to the software in the description so you can check it out there, and maybe you want to give it a go. Remember, there's a free trial if you download it from Steam as well, so you've got kind of a no-cost test to see if it works for you. And there you go. Not much more to say other than pretty impressed. I'm pretty damn impressed with this. Okay, that's it for me for now. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again very soon. Bye for now.